Well, thanks for joining me, folks. Welcome. We are in the book of Job. This is a devotion time. And I'm going to be doing Job 32, 33, 34. Looks like 35, 36. This is going to be one video, just Job 37. Uh, and that'll be it. So that's going to be one, two, let's see, it's going to be five chapters, five chapters. And the reason is because it's all one discourse. It's five chapters of one discourse. Now, Job has been debating with his friends that showed up to comfort him after he's lost everything. His health is gone. He's in misery. And they're trying to comfort him by asking him, Job, what'd you do wrong? And Job said, I didn't do anything wrong. And they come back and, Job, what'd you do wrong? Well, the one that has been sitting there quiet this entire time and has not said a word, but has listened to this entire discourse is Elihu. And Elihu is about to bring the thunder because he has finally had enough of this whole thing. And he's about to set some people straight. So, you guys ready to hear this? All right, let's start with chapter 32, verse 1. Elihu contradicts Job's friends. So these three men ceased answering Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barashel, the Buzite of the family of Ram, was aroused against Job. His wrath was aroused because he justified himself rather than God. Also against his three friends, his wrath was aroused because they had found no answer and yet had condemned Job. Now, because they were years older than he, Elihu had waited to speak to Job, so he's been respectful toward his elders. And something that existed back then. Wow. Something we can learn today. A little respect for our elders. Anyway, when Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, his wrath was aroused. So Elihu, the son of Barashel, the Buzite, answered and said, Well, I am young in years, and you are very old. Therefore I was afraid. I dared not declare my opinion to you. I said, Age should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in man, and the breath of the Almighty gives him understanding. Great men are not always wise, nor do the aged always understand justice. Therefore I say, listen to me. I also will declare my opinion. Indeed, I waited for your words. I listened to your reasonings while you searched out what to say. I paid close attention to you. And surely not one of you convinced Job or answered his words. Lest you say, We have found wisdom. God will vanquish him, not man. Now, he has not directed his words against me, so I will not answer him with your words. They are dismayed and answer no more. Words escape them. And I have waited because they did not speak, because they stood still and answered no more. I also will answer my part. I too will declare my opinion. For I am full of words. The spirit within me compels me. Indeed, my belly is like wine that has no vent. It is ready to burst like new wineskins. I will speak that I may find relief. I must open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray, show partiality to anyone, nor let me flatter any man, for I do not know how to flatter, else my Maker would soon take me away. Now, we're in chapter 33, that was 32. In chapter 33, Elihu contradicts Job. But please, Job, hear my speech and listen to all my words. Now I open my mouth. My tongue speaks in my mouth. My words come from my upright heart. My lips utter pure knowledge. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. If you can answer me, set your words in order before me. Take your stand. Truly, I am as your spokesman before God. I also have been formed out of clay. Surely no fear of me will terrify you, nor will my hand be heavy on you. Surely you have spoken in my hearing, and I have heard the sound of your words, saying, I am pure without transgression. I am innocent, and there is no iniquity in me. Yet he finds occasion against me. He counts me as his enemy. He puts my feet in the stocks. He watches all my paths. Look, in this you are not righteous. You will not, I will answer you, he says. For God is greater than man. Why do you contend with him? For he does not give an accounting of any of his words. For God may speak in one way or in another, yet man does not perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men while slumbering on their beds, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction in order to turn man from his deed and conceal pride from man. He keeps back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. Man is also chastened with pain on his bed and with strong pain in many of his bones, so that his life abhors bread and his soul succulent food. His flesh wastes away from sight, and his bones stick out, which once were not seen. Yes, his soul draws near the pit, and his life to the executioners. If there is a messenger for him, a mediator, one among 1,000, to show man his uprightness, then he is gracious to him and says, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be young like a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray to God, and he will deliver in him, or he will delight in him. He shall pray to God, and he will delight in him. He shall see his face with joy, for he restores a man to his righteousness. Then he looks at men and says, I have sinned and perverted what was right, and it did not profit me. I will redeem his soul from going down to the pit, and his life shall see the light. Behold, God works all these things twice, in fact, 3 times with a man to bring back his soul from the pit, that he may be delighted with the light of life. Give ear, Job, listen to me. Hold your peace, and I will speak. If you have anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify you. If not, listen to me. Hold your peace, and I will teach you wisdom. Now we're in chapter 34. Elihu proclaims Job's justice. Elihu further answered and said, hear my words, you wise men. Give ear to me, you who have knowledge. For the ear tests words, as the palate tastes food. Let us choose justice for ourselves. Let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job has said, I am righteous, but God has taken away my justice. Should I lie concerning my right? My wound is incurable, though I am without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinks scorn like water, who goes in company with the workers of iniquity and walks with wicked men? For he has said, it profits man nothing that he should delight in God. Therefore, listen to me, you men of understanding. Far be it from God to do wickedness, and from the Almighty to commit iniquity. For he repays man according to his work, and makes man to find a reward according to his way. Surely God will never do wickedly, nor will the Almighty pervert justice. Who gave him charge over the earth? Or who appointed him over the whole world? If he should set his heart on it, if he should gather to himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh would perish together, and man would return to dust. If you have understanding, hear this, listen to the sound of my words. Should one who hates justice govern? Will you condemn him who is most just? Is it fitting to say to a king, you are worthless, or to nobles, you are wicked? Yet he is not partial to princesses, nor does he regard the rich more than the poor. For they are all the work of his hands. In a moment they die, in the middle of the night. The people are shaken and pass away. The mighty are taken away without a hand. For his eyes are on the ways of man, and he sees all his steps. There's no darkness or shadow of death where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. For he need no further, for he need not further consider a man that he should go before God in judgment. He breaks in pieces mighty men without iniquity, without inquiry, excuse me. He breaks in pieces mighty men without inquiry. He sets others in their place. Therefore, he knows their works. He overthrows them in the night, and they are crushed. He strikes them as wicked men in open sight of others because they turned back from him and would not consider any of his ways. So that they caused the cry of the poor to come to him. For he hears the cry of the afflicted. When he gives quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hides his face, who then can see him? Whether it is against a nation or a man alone, that the hypocrite should not reign, lest the people be ensnared. For has anyone said to God, I have borne chastening, I will offend no more? Teach me what I do not see. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more. Should he repay it according to your terms, just because you disavow it? You must choose, and not I. Therefore, speak what you know. Men of understanding say to me, wise men who listen to me, Job speaks without knowledge, his words are without wisdom. Oh, that Job were tried to the utmost, because his answers are like those of the wicked men. For he adds rebellion to his sin. He claps his hands among us, and multitudes his words against God. In chapter 35, Elihu condemns self righteousness. Moreover, Elihu answered and said, do you think this is right? Do you say, my righteousness is more than God's? For you say, what advantage will it be to you? What profit shall I have more than I had sinned, more than if I had sinned? What profit shall I have more than if I had sinned? I will answer you. and your companions with you. Now he's talking to Job's friends. He's condemning their self-righteousness by saying, we're righteous, Job. You should be like us. And he goes at Job and he says, now you know you can't accuse God of, of acting against you in a manner that's not righteous. Come on, Job. That's what he's saying. See, he understands that all of them are sinners. All of them are under the judgment of God, absent God's grace, that all of them are unrighteous in comparison to God. This is what he's talking about. And he's saying, well, you guys are unrighteous before God too. Why are you picking on Job? That's what he's saying. What advantage will it be to you? What profit shall I have more than if I had sinned? I will answer you, and your companions with you. Look to the heavens and see, and behold the clouds. They are higher than you. God's bigger than you, is what he's saying. If you sin, what do you accomplish against him? Or if your transgressions are multiplied, what do you do to him? If you are righteous, what do you give him? Or what does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness affects a man such as you, and your righteousness a son of man. Because of the multitude of oppressions, they cry out. They cry out for help because of the arm of the mighty. But one who says, where is God my maker, who gives songs in the night, who teaches us more than the beasts of the earth, who makes us wiser than the birds of heaven? There they cry out. But he does not answer because of the pride of evil men. Surely God will not listen to empty talk, nor will the Almighty regard it. Although you say you do not see him, yet justice is before him, and you must wait for him. And now, because he has punished in his anger, nor taken much notice of folly, therefore Job opens his mouth in vain. He multiplies words without knowledge. Now in chapter 36, Elihu proclaims God's goodness. Elihu answered, also proceeded and said, Elihu also proceeded and said, bear with me a little, and I will show you that there are yet words to speak on God's behalf. I will fetch my knowledge from afar. I will ascribe righteousness to my Maker, for truly my words are not false. One who is perfect in knowledge is with you. Behold, God is mighty, but despises no one. God is mighty in strength of understanding. He does not preserve the life of the wicked, but gives justice to the oppressed. He does not withdraw his eyes from the righteous, but they are on the throne with kings, for he has seated them forever, and they are exalted. And if they are bound in letters, or if they are bound in fetters, held in the cords of affliction, then he tells them their work and their transgressions, that they have acted defiantly. He also opens their ear to instruction and commands that they turn from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures. But if they do not obey, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge. But the hypocrites in heart store up wrath. They do not cry for help when he binds them. They die in youth, and their life ends among the perverted persons. And their life ends among the perverted persons. He delivers the poor in their affliction and opens their ears in oppression. Indeed, he would have brought you out of dire distress, into a broad place where there is no restraint, and what is set on your table would be full of riches. But you are filled with the judgment due to the wicked. Judgment and justice take hold of you, because there's wrath. Beware lest he take you away with one blow. For a large ransom would not help you avoid it. Will your riches or all the mighty forces keep you from distress? Do not desire the night when people are cut off in their place. Take heed, do not turn to iniquity, for you have chosen this rather than affliction. Behold, God is exalted by his power who teaches like him. Who has assigned him his way, or who has said, you have done wrong? It's a question. Or who has said, you have done wrong? Now Elihu proclaims God's majesty. Now, so far, before I go on, here's the issue. Here's the problem. No one so far in this conversation has, as far as I can see, has come to the point of understanding that God can act in a person's life and bring hardship into their life without it having to do with the idea that they committed some kind of a sin and God's bringing judgment. They haven't picked up on the fact that God can bring hardship into our lives for other reasons other than, oh, well, he committed evil, therefore God is punishing him. They haven't figured that part out yet, as far as I can see. Remember to magnify his work of which men have sung. Every one has seen it. Man looks on it from afar. Behold, God is great, and we do not know him. Nor can the number of his years be discovered. For he draws up drops of water, which distill as rain from the mist, which the clouds drop down and pour abundantly on men. Indeed, can anyone understand the spreading of clouds, the thunder from his canopy? Look, he scatters his light upon it and recovers the depths of the sea. For by these he judges the peoples. He gives food in abundance. He covers his hands with lightning and commands it to strike. His thunder declares it. The cattle also concerning the rising storm. And now we come to the final chapter of this reading, chapter 37. At this also my heart trembles and leaps from its place. Heart in herein, I'm going too fast. Let me slow down. At this also my heart trembles and leaps from its place. Hear attentively the thunder of his voice and the rumbling that comes from his mouth. He sends it forth under the whole heaven. His lightning to the earth, his lightning to the ends of the earth. After it, a voice roars. He thunders with his majestic voice. He thunders with his majestic voice. Talking about God. And he does not restrain them when his voice is heard. God thunders marvelously with his voice. He does great things which cannot be comprehended. For he says to the snow, fall on the earth, likewise to the gentle rain and the heavy rain of his strength. He seals the hand of every man, that all men may know his work. The beasts go into dens and remain in their lairs. From the chamber of the south comes the whirlwind, and cold from the scattering winds of the north. By the breath of God, ice is given, and the broad waters are frozen. Also, with moisture, he saturates the thick clouds. He scatters his bright clouds and they swirl about being turned by his guidance that they may that they may do whatever he commands them on the face of the whole earth. He causes it to come, whether for correction or for his land or for mercy. Listen to this, O Job. Stand still and consider the wondrous works of God. Do you know when God dispatches them and causes the light of his cloud to shine? Do you know how the clouds are balanced? Those wondrous works of him who is perfect in knowledge? Why are your garments hot when he quiets the earth by the south wind? With him you have spread out the skies, strong as a cast metal mirror. With him have you spread out the skies, strong as a cast metal mirror. Teach us what we should say to him. For we can prepare nothing because of the darkness. Should he be told that I wish to speak? If a man were to speak, surely he would be swallowed up. Even now, men cannot look at the light when it is bright in the skies. When the wind has passed and cleared them, he comes from the north as golden splendor. With God is awesome majesty. For as the Almighty, we cannot find him. He is excellent in power, in judgment, in abundant justice. He does not oppress. Therefore, men fear him. He shows no partiality to any who are wise of heart. And that ends Elihu's discourse. Elihu was wise in this aspect. He knew that Job's friends were acting self righteously, and he rebuked that. He also knew that Job was saying, why did God do this to me? Why, God? Why, Lord? Why aren't you, well, Lord, why aren't you relieving me of this? Why are you doing this to me? Why aren't you working, Lord? Why aren't you helping me? And Elihu's saying, Job, settle down. He's God. He will do as he pleases. Um, you can't command God and understand that God does what he does it, as he chooses, according to his pleasure, and is always for a purpose. Even our suffering and our despair serves a purpose. To question him is, of course, human nature when it comes to our emotions and our need for relief. But we have to understand, because, you read David in the Psalms, he pleads to the Lord, he agonizes before the Lord, that's fine. But just like Elihu was telling Job, we need to remember that even in our suffering, God is still God. And if God doesn't want to give us a reason for what he's doing to us, then he doesn't have to. We just need to trust him in what he's doing. Sometimes it's for a greater purpose, just like it was here with Job. It was for a greater purpose that Job suffered. And it serves still, even, 4,000 years later, it's still serving a greater purpose. And this is the wisdom that Elihu brought out. When we come back in Job 38, God himself is going to speak. The Lord reveals his omnipotence to Job. We're going to go 38, all the way from 38 to the end of chapter 42 and finish out. So it'd be about 4 chapters to finish out the book of Job in the next reading. And then we go to, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. We'll go back to Genesis. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope these readings are a blessing to you. Um, this is discipline yourself to listen to the Word of God, to read it, to listen to it, to saturate it, to make it a part of your mind and your heart. The world, the world system, the unbelieving, anti-Christ, against God, enmity against God, world system saturates our mind and our heart while we are living upon this earth. The Word of God is the cleansing agent that cleans the toxicity, the poison, and the garbage of the world out of our minds and out of our soul. That's why this is important. Teach yourself to pay attention to the Word. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time here on the C Files. You guys, I pray that the Lord blesses you in all that you do.